Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the third video that I've managed to do today, when I don't think I've done more than 5 videos in the last 2 weeks. But hey, it's opinions time. I want to talk about meta. This is an important conversation that we need to have about meta. And unfortunately, I hate to say it guys, the meta that's currently in place is bad within Street Fighter Duel. Now, as you may or may not be aware, there has been 2 long-standing metas, okay? You've got boss meta and you've got PvP meta, okay? Both of which have evolved slightly, but both of which have evolved, but not greatly, okay? Let's talk about bossing meta first. When you are playing Street Fighter Duel at the moment, what do you need to do? You need to now have a team that's got Flameade on. You now basically need a team with the Turtles. And you basically need a Vega team. Essentially. If you do not have one of these, if you do not have all 3 of these, you have got no chance of competing, okay? Then what happens is, the important team essentially becomes your team 4, okay? Because if you don't have this team or a variation of, this team or a variation of, and this team or a variation of, you are not going to get enough points where this even matters, okay? Now, that becomes a bit of a problem because this team is about to disappear. So you could have literally a large pool of players who just now will not be able to compete for a good period of time. And that's bad because it can make a lot of players quit. I'm seeing players quitting. Players within my guild are quitting. And I don't know the real reasons, to be honest. I had a discussion about this, and one player in particular says, I'm quitting the game, it's became far more pay to win. I don't agree with that, and just let me explain why. Some people will disagree here. The game's as pay to win as it's always been, right? It's not changed, right? What actually happens is, you used to spend money, you did quite well, you stopped spending money, but other people didn't. You now don't compete as well as you used to, and you think the game became more pay to win. I hate to tell you, it didn't. It's the same as it was before. You just stopped spending money, so you started to notice. That's what happened. The game's just the same as it's been, okay? But that's the perception that starts to happen, because people start to feel like, God damn, I never get that new unit, I never get that new team comp, I can't compete, I'm screwed, okay? So that's bossing. Apart from bossing, we have another more serious meta, which is one thing and one thing only, as you guys know. It's this. That's my defense team. Right, and to be honest, my defence team is a little bit experimental. I've actually set it up so that I don't even go first. I have set my defence team so that I do not go first, okay? That's it. I'm not even trying to go first. I'm literally just, you know what, let's go, let's see. I'm just going to set this up so that I can take some damage, and I'll put speed on my team 2, just in case my team 1 doesn't win. Right, that team went first. That's like... That wasn't the example I tried to show, but you can see here I don't even have my speed EXs, I don't have my fast unit, what's his face, Zangief there. I'm not going to show you Bakar because he's one of my teammates. Did anyone who's not in my guild? No, everyone's in my guild, so I'm not going to show you that because I don't want to like make my guild mates feel like I'm putting them on blast or something. Right, but the point is, Vega, he is just an abomination, right? I love the unit because he's so OP, but I recognise how much of a problem that is. He is essentially trivialising team building, right? I am trying to find a way that Vega is still good even if you don't go first, which is what that team is kind of doing there, right? But PvP has been wrecked by Vega, right? The Turtles do not outperform Vega. They are good, but they do not outperform Vega, right? And if you've got decent comps for your, Super Showdown, if you've got V Vega and a good team, if you've got your Turtles in Team 3, for example, you're probably going to win if you make it to Team 3. But he's just chewing through everything, and it's making the game stale. Which, I know, people don't want me to say this, they don't want me to say that V Vega is a problem, but see, if you cannot look at V Vega and admit that he's a problem, then you're just really trying to hold on to something that is actually probably not good for the game. Now, again, I've said many times in the past, I'm not up for nerfing units, but I mean, I'm possibly actually feeding into the problem by saying that, because V Vega is too overpowered. 100% he is too overpowered, just like Flameadon is too overpowered. I know people will come back and they'll say, Flameadon's not the problem is actually Flame Chun-Li. No, Flame Chun-Li's not the problem, because if you take Flame Chun-Li and put other Flame DPS units with her, she doesn't make them go crazy. It is because of the design of Flameadon's kit is the reason why he goes crazy, right? But anyway, that aside, they need to do something about this meta. Whether it's introduce seasons, because that would work better than nerfing a unit. They could introduce PvP seasons where bleed mechanics are nerfed by 200%, or they could introduce a season where damage immunity ignoring units, they don't do that. That way they're not nerfing the unit, but they're essentially nerfing the unit's usage for that period of time. Okay, that would help with PvP, because right now it is literally a case of don't even bother trying to build a good team, just make your V Vega go first and make your V Vega survive long enough to kill the other V Vega. If that happens, you're probably going to win, right? Which is just boring. With regards to bossing, that's a whole different kettle of fish, because like I showed you there, we've essentially now established that you need to have 3 strong teams to perform well. You need a Flameadon team, you more than likely need a Turtles team, and you more than likely need to have a V Vega team. Do you know what that means? That essentially means if you're on a server where everyone has this, and this, then the only fight that matters is this. So why are we even doing 4-team battles? Because if only one of those 4 teams is actually what's important for your score, you may as well just ban these units and have a 1-team fight, because that's all that matters. I mean, literally, if your whole entire 4-team battle setup is coming down to who has the best team 4, then why does team 1 to 3 even matter? You could just put all your eggs in one basket, do single team fights, and do that one fight. And it would give you the same outcome, because essentially, if this is a moot point, this is a moot point, and this is a moot point, depending on your server, then if this is all that matters, you're just well doing 1-team fights, saving everyone a lot of headache, a lot of RNG, and all the rest of it. Now, I'm not saying to do that, I'm saying the steps that they've taken on bosses, they maybe need to take it one step further, okay? Like, they maybe have to consider doing bossing seasons as well, where, again, if your unit has bleed, you can't use it. You can't use master units for this boss. You can't use infernal units for this boss. You can't use flame units for this boss. Just something like that. Not permanently, because if you do it permanently, you're essentially punishing the player base. But making players change their thinking, change how they approach team building every season, changing things up, it keeps the game fresh, it keeps the game more engaging, and it makes people have to think again about what teams work. Not just, this is the team I run 1, this is the team I run 2, this is the team I run 3. Let's be honest, most of the times it's pretty much the same with slight variations. They need to change that up, because again, while this used to be the only aspect to the game that was fresh and it was different, because we always do the same thing, how you do it used to be different. You would switch up your teams, who worked well, who doesn't work well. Now it's not like that. You literally fight bosses who have flame and vulnerability. They take 75% less flame damage allegedly, and who still does the most damage? Flameadon. How does that make sense? So they really need to mix things up because, in my opinion, the whole meta thing has existed far too long. Vega's not existed as long, but you can clearly see he's going to continue. Flame Aedon's been about, 6 months now? There's nothing changing there, right? They're never going to nerf him. I'm not saying they should nerf him. So instead, they need to think of ways to, I guess, stop people using him as much. And the way that I could see them doing that would be to do seasons. So even if it is literally a case of you can run him against a boss, but let's say your team gets bonuses. So if you're fighting a boss, if you have no flame units on your team, you get 300% more points. If you have no Infernal units on your team, you get 200% more points. Just something daft like that. There's ways that they can essentially spice things up to make the unit less viable all the time, because as it stands right now, it is same shit, different day. And all I'm suggesting is to keep more players engaged, keep more players playing. They might want to take a look at that. But anyway, that's my rant over. I've been Hayzink. Catch you in the next one. Peace, muchachos.